ko au, ko koe, ko koe, ko au. The waters that flow through me are the waters that flow through you. If we look at who we are as Indigenous peoples of New Zealand and Māori, we have an Indigenous connection to the water. I guess that's why I love diving. You know, I love diving because I get under the water and I block out all the background noise.
It's just a sense of peace, really, for myself. Yeah, I love that feeling where you're just floating in the water and you're in a total different environment.
I can spend hours. It's only the tanks really that stop me from staying under there for longer, you know. It's a whole other world down there.
Some of the issues that we have as Māori, but also as New Zealanders, is that we're drowning kohikohi kai, or we're drowning gathering seafood.
The water is a dangerous place as well, so you got to respect it, eh? You got to show your respect for, for tangaro and for the marine life and stuff like that.
For myself, that's what happened to me when I was lost out at sea. I crossed that line of tikanga. 14 years ago, I was changing my dive qualifications over. There was myself and about 5 other divers who I hadn't dived with before. Now, I forgot about the kaupapa on why I was actually there. I was actually there to get the ticket and do the training. But once these guys had said to me, oh, where's your kind, big Navy diver? You've got nothing. What's happening here, then it's that challenge and that whittle that comes inside, you know, that Maui tiki tiki. I get down to about 15 metres, and then there's about 30 crayfish. I ignored what my grandfather always said to me, which was, just take enough for a kai. I was already in the state of mind where I was going to get as much as I could to show these fellas that I was the man. And then all of a sudden, I shot in there and got caught into a rip. After 4 days, I'd floated somewhere back to Kapiti. I didn't even know where I was. I was just disorientated, having hallucinations. I was just going to give up, you know? And then all of a sudden, they came and picked me up. I could just remember that feeling of euphoria, that feeling of, shit, this is real. My life before my survival, my rescue, I was the brother of an All Black. My brother said to me, now it's time for you to step out of the shadow and be a leader within the expertise that you are in.
Ahau ki runga hau ki raru, hau ki waho, hau ki roto i ahau. E nā tua e noho ana ki iko nei a tangaroa a tāwhiri mātia, haumi e hui e.
I came into this mahi with Water Safety New Zealand under the umbrella of Kia Manu, Kia Ora, which is Stay Afloat, Stay Alive. Yeah, one of the important things is the cultural capacity that we have within the program, because it's not just about getting the ticket, it's about making sure that they're competent culturally and they're competent and safe in the water.
Okay, Joe, so what we're going to do is we're going to drop down nice and slow and be in control of the descent all the way. Okay. Don't touch the bottom. Then we're going to flare out like this and go for our swim.
Ka tukua ngā karakia mō tātou kaupapa mō tēnei rā. Ka roho ki te waitai e haramai ki te taitumu, nau e tangaro e, haumia hui e, tāki e. Ka whakamārama. So I'll hand over to Donnie and he'll give us a little bit of a briefing on what we're going to do today.
Today we're going to be diving here in a lovely called bait shed.
When I was growing up, getting into mischief and trouble, I was going in and out of juvie, did my open water pool dives there, you know, with the guards, everything watching me. My first proper dive, and I was down there 7 meters deep, and actually being able to stay down there, I just never wanted to come back up. Grown, so they're about 150, 160 centimeters. We've also got shore person here, Monty, going to be on the phone if you need to scream out for help or anything.
It's knowledge, eh? It's knowledge that a lot of people don't have. Like I said for myself, you know, I thought I knew a lot about diving and that, and it wasn't until I started doing these courses and getting this knowledge that I actually realised how much I didn't know.
I started free diving about 10 years ago, and just the wonders of what's happening under the water, I just needed to spend more time under the water instead of floating around on top of it, pretty much. Doing the course was definitely worth doing. And to do it with my son was something really special. Like, I've been wanting to do this since I was his age.
On the 23rd of December 2019, we had organised to go for a dive with members who had just completed the open water dive course a few weeks earlier. One of the divers had talked about maybe going to get some crayfish, so he'd sort of broken away from the other two. What had unfolded was all in slow motion to me.
There was 3 of us in the water, Monty and Tiamo and myself. When my 5 minutes was up, I just swam 5 meters to the surface. At that point, I could just see the boat in the distance. I was too far away from the boat with the wind in my face to actually blow a whistle or yell or scream. I inflated my safety sausage. I'm kind of like at a slow jog pace, whizzing past Devil's Gate and heading out to the straight. And at that point, I'm looking back at the boat's getting smaller and smaller. And that was pretty much the last I saw of the boat.
Now I'm on the other end. I'm the person that's lost the diver. First thing I think about is people are going to judge me, you know, and I have to get that out of my head because it's not about me. It's about Todd who's in the water. I make a call to call in a mayday.
I'm 100 meters away from the rocks. I had an idea that I could just ditch my weight belt and I swim my ass off to the last rock. In an instant, I thought, oh, that's a foolish idea. I would have never made that last rock. I would have missed it by 100 meters. They would have been looking for a corpse, 100%. Helicopter turned up, and I watched this helicopter search a grid for probably an hour and a half. And I was waving my sausage hard, but it was, you know, a needle in a haystack sort of scenario. So
we had 2 or 3 bags of kina. I said to the guys, hey, out of respect, we'll give this kina back to Tangaroa. We'll give it back to Tangaroa and ask him for our mate back.
I started heading back towards the rip again. That was getting smashed from water from the back, front, left, right. I was swallowing litres and litres of seawater, and I was probably throwing up maybe every 40 seconds. I thought, if I'm going to die out here, it's because I'm going to pass out from throwing up. The police boat turned up. But then for 2.5 hours, I watched these boats, mate, doing a grid 100 metres back, 100 metres back. Passed me again, and on the 4th pass, he saw a glint of orange. Told the skipper to turn around that he'd seen something, and that was me, so. Mate, they were the happiest, surprisingly elated. They weren't out there looking for a live person at all. They were just on a recovery mission.
This is the moment Todd Russell set foot back on land, barefoot and in police overalls after spending 3.5 hours alone in the Cook Strait.
Earlier on in the day, I called my son and I asked Cooper if he'd be interested in coming out. He had mates coming around or something, so he said no. Jesus, imagine had Cooper been here pretty much the whole time I was in the ocean. I was thinking, yes, thank fuck he didn't come.
In my mind, I think he's sort of invincible, but I was just really worried, you know, that our entire family life could have been flipped on its head in a second and we would never have recovered from that.
I don't believe anything will dampen my enthusiasm for getting in the water. I've been in the sea a couple of times since, so it hasn't kind of put me off getting wet, you know.
We're lucky our water here in New Zealand is beautiful. You know, we're actually gifted to have it here, but yeah, to be able to share it with other people, it's something special, and I reckon it's rewarding.
You know, when I was growing up, I had anger management, you know, I couldn't handle. Diving was one of those ways to stop you, you know, think about yourself. Gives you a good thinking space. You don't just have to run away with your friends and get on the piss or go smoke dope. You can just go and get a kai for your family and put a smile on your family's face and or yourself, you know.
It's healthy for my mental health. I'm detoxing my body, my wairua and my henengaro to a point where I become one with the water.
Ko te reo, te take.